Ever wondered what happens when you mix a tiny budget, wild imagination, and a complete disregard for scientific accuracy? Welcome to the world of 1950s sci-fi B-movies, where robots battle mummies and giant monsters terrorize cities with special effects that would make a 5-year-old laugh. In this video, we're looking at 10 of the most delightfully terrible sci-fi films from the 1950s. These movies are so bad, they've circled right back around to being good. So get ready for a journey through time, space, and some of the most hilariously questionable filmmaking choices in cinematic history. Fantasy, sci-fi, nostalgia, rerun zone. The Manster, 1959. Ever heard of a man with two heads? Well, in The Manster, that's exactly what you get. This 1959 oddity follows an American journalist in Japan who, thanks to a mad scientist's experiments, starts sprouting an extra noggin. As our hero grapples with his monstrous transformation, the film takes us on a wild ride that's part horror, part unintentional comedy. What makes The Manster truly unique is its American-Japanese co-production. Shot in Japan with a mostly Japanese crew and actors, it blends cultural elements in the most bizarre ways. The special effects, while aiming for scary, end up being more giggle-worthy. Picture a second head bobbing up and down on the actor's shoulder, but only visible at night and never in close-up. The climax is a sight to behold. Our two-headed protagonist battles himself on the edge of a live volcano. It's a scene so absurd, it secured the film's place as a cult classic. Critics called it a pathetic potboiler and never frightening, but that's exactly why we love it today. The Robot vs. the Aztec Mummy, 1958. If you thought a two-headed man fighting himself was odd, you're in for a treat with The Robot vs. the Aztec Mummy. This 1959 film brings together ancient mysticism and futuristic technology in a truly bizarre showdown. As the third installment in a trilogy, this movie recycles much of its plot from its predecessors. The filmmakers had to get creative with their limited resources, relying heavily on stock footage and a convoluted storyline involving the return of the evil Dr. Krupp, seeking revenge after his previous defeat. The climax is a spectacle that's more likely to induce laughter than fear. The robot, initially appearing formidable, faces off against the mummy in a battle that showcases some of the most unintentionally hilarious, low-budget special effects of the era. Adding to the film's charm is its complete disregard for historical accuracy. While the Aztecs weren't known for mummification, this movie blends history and sci-fi with reckless abandon. This peculiar mix of genres paved the way for countless other outlandish cinematic combinations in the years that followed. War of the Colossal Beast, 1958. Changing actors is one thing, but War of the Colossal Beast took it a step further with Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Manning. The once handsome giant from The Amazing Colossal Man transformed into a scarred, one-eyed monster with a serious attitude problem. The filmmakers attempted to explain this drastic change using makeup and lighting tricks that were more amusing than convincing. The plot centers on the military's efforts to capture and contain Manning, who's now terrorizing Mexico. As our jumbo-sized anti-hero stomps through miniature sets, you can't help but wonder if they were built by a kindergarten class. The attention to detail is, let's just say, it's unique. The grand finale at Griffith Observatory is truly something to behold. Manning, realizing what he's become, decides to end it all by electrocuting himself on power lines. It's a climax that perfectly encapsulates the wild concepts 1950s sci-fi had to offer, leaving audiences both amused and bewildered. Before I get to the next movie, as most of you know, I'm just one guy, 70 years young, putting this all together with a lot of love for classic TV, movies, and cartoons from back in the day. If you enjoy these trips down memory lane, I'd be thrilled if you hit that subscribe button, or even consider becoming a channel member. It's a simple way to keep this passion project going strong, and it means the world to me. Thanks for being a part of this journey. Now, back to the show. The Brain Eaters, 1958. While Manning's electrifying exit in War of the Colossal Beast left audiences buzzing, Another sci-fi flick was about to spark a different kind of shock. In the Courtroom, the Brain Eaters featured mind-controlling parasites invading a small town, spreading suspicion and fear among the townspeople. The film's premise caught the attention of Robert A. Heinlein, who saw striking similarities to his novel The Puppet Masters. Heinlein sued the filmmakers for $150,000, claiming they'd copied his work. The irony? The Brain Eaters was made for a mere $26,000 in just 6 days. The shoestring budget was evident in every frame, from the questionable special effects to the rushed plot. The courtroom drama took an amusing turn when the disparity between the lawsuit amount and the film's budget came to light. In the end, Heinlein settled for $5,000 and demanded his name be kept off the credits. It was a sci-fi legal spectacle that probably cost more to litigate than to produce the film itself. King Dinosaur, 1955. From courtroom drama to prehistoric pandemonium, 1950s Sci-Fi took an unexpected turn with King Dinosaur. This peculiar 1955 film attempted to pass off iguanas as dinosaurs, setting a new standard for creative creature design. In this cinematic curiosity, astronauts land on a newly discovered planet called Nova, only to find it populated by, wait for it, Earth creatures. That's right, iguanas and alligators star as fearsome dinosaurs, while a kinkajou makes a guest appearance as a lemur. The film's use of recycled footage adds to the delightful confusion. The climax involves our intrepid explorers using nuclear power to deal with the planet's inhabitants. TV Guide summed it up perfectly, giving it 1 star and noting that the quickness of the movie shooting shows. With a shoestring budget, director Burt I. Gordon made his debut here, setting the stage for a career filled with thrifty sci-fi spectacles. As we leave Nova behind, get ready for even more outlandish alien worlds to come. The Monster of Piedras Blancas, 1959. From exploding planets to coastal carnage, our next stop takes us to a sleepy seaside town with a deadly secret. The Monster of Piedras Blancas introduces us to a community terrorized by a mysterious beast. As bodies start piling up, the town's fear grows rapidly. The 1959 creature feature showcases a rubber-suited monster crafted by special effects wizard Paul Bladel. The creature bears a striking resemblance to the famous Gillman from Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is no coincidence given Bladel's work on low-budget monster flicks. While the film attempts to build suspense, it often veers into unintentional comedy. The creature's clumsy movements are more likely to induce giggles than screams. Critics at the time called it a pathetic potboiler, and the climactic showdown between the townspeople and the monster, aiming for bravery, lands squarely in camp territory. Manhunt in Space, 1956. Imagine a realm where interstellar travel is as commonplace as taking public transportation, and cosmic diplomacy faces constant threats from nefarious space pirates. This is the universe of Manhunt in Space, a 1956 sci-fi adventure that treads familiar ground in the realm of televised space operas. This film brings Rocky Jones, Space Ranger, to the silver screen. Our protagonist, Rocky, confronts a band of space pirates who've abducted key diplomatic figures. It's a storyline that echoes future space adventures, albeit with a significantly tighter budget. Manhunt in Space demonstrates impressive resourcefulness. The movie liberally borrows footage from the Rocky Jones TV series, creating a sense of déjà vu as familiar scenes repeat themselves across the vast expanse of the cosmos. The film's portrayal of futuristic technology embodies the spirit of 1950s optimism, albeit with a hefty dose of impracticality. Spacecraft have that classic sleek look, while control panels overflow with an abundance of blinking lights. It's a tomorrow where everything appears cutting-edge and pristine, save for the rudimentary special effects. The Space Children, 1958. From blinking control panels to glowing alien brains, 1950s Sci-Fi had a unique way of visualizing the future. The Space Children explored a chilling possibility. What if the real threat wasn't in space, but in the minds of our children? This 1958 film, directed by Jack Arnold of Creature from the Black Lagoon fame, follows a group of kids who start communicating with a mysterious alien presence. As the children become more secretive and distant, their parents grow increasingly worried. The tension builds as the adults, representing the skeptical establishment, struggle to understand what's happening to their kids. The movie serves as an allegory for the era's societal anxieties. The alien influence on the children reflects fears of outside ideological manipulation, while the generational divide mirrors the social upheaval of the time. Arnold attempts to create an eerie atmosphere throughout the film. However, the performances of the child actors often result in moments of unintended humor, adding an unexpected layer to this Cold War-era sci-fi thriller. Prince of Space, 1959. What if I told you there's a movie where the fate of the universe hinges on a hero's ability to defeat a villain who looks like a giant space chicken? This is the premise of Prince of Space, a 1959 Japanese sci-fi film that takes viewers on a bizarre cosmic adventure. The story follows a boot shiner with a secret identity as the heroic Prince of Space. Our Caped Crusader faces off against the Phantom of Krankor, an alien invader whose chicken-like appearance is more comical than menacing. Their battles are a spectacle of low-budget special effects that somehow enhance the entertainment value. Prince of Space found an audience in Japan and later gained cult status in the West. The film's charm, if you can call it that, stems from its ambitious attempt at space opera on a shoestring budget. Creative costume designs and special effects, while far from convincing, left a lasting impression on viewers. In the end, Prince of Space triumphs over the alien menace, demonstrating that sometimes all you need to save the universe is a cape, determination, and a liberal interpretation of scientific principles. As we move on from this poultry-inspired alien invasion, prepare yourself for even more outlandish extraterrestrial designs in our next feature. Terror from the Year 5000, 1958. Terror from the Year 5000 takes the concept of a femme fatale to extremes, spanning millennia instead of mere decades. This 1950s sci-fi film follows a series of mysterious deaths in a small town, eventually revealing an unexpected culprit, a woman from the distant future. The time traveler's appearance is a testament to the film's creativity in the face of budget constraints. Her costume, while intended to be futuristic, often elicits more amusement than fear. However, this unintentional humor adds to the film's charm and reflects the era's imaginative approach to depicting the unknown. Despite its low-budget trappings, Terror from the Year 5000 delves into serious themes. The movie explores 1950s anxieties about nuclear power and environmental destruction, using the time traveler's mission as a vehicle to discuss these concerns. Our visitor from the future isn't here for pleasantries. She's desperately trying to save her dying world. As the plot unfolds, we learn the true motives behind the time traveler's actions, leading to a climax that serves as a cautionary tale about scientific progress. While modern viewers might find some aspects of the film dated, Terror from the Year 5000 remains a fascinating snapshot of a decade, grappling with rapid technological advancement and its potential consequences. These 1950s sci-fi B-movies have an enduring charm that still captivates audiences decades later. Despite their outlandish plots, they offer a unique window into 1950s America. If I happen to miss any of your favorite low-budget sci-fi films from the 1950s, leave them in the comments below. As always, this is Rich from Rerun Zone signing off.